components I'm going to talk about today is focus, vantage point, and time. So I'm going to start with vantage point. The photographer sets up the camera what appears to be on the grass field, so it gives the people who are looking at the photograph a upper angle so they can look at what appears to be either a war monument or statue at maybe a local park. The photographer did notice that there is people admiring the statue or just relaxing around the statue, so he does make sure he does capture those people as well, so that it can give them so it can give the photograph a more historical type of perspective. With time, it does appear to have no static movement because there is a lot of movement here around this area. Over here, you see a lady either giving something to a lady or talking to that lady. So it does appear to have some frozen action around this movement. And over here, with these two gentlemen, classy gentlemen, looks like, they do appear to be posing for the photographer. It does appear that the photographer didn't know there was people for, being posing, so it does appear to be an example of blurred motion, so a trace of time. So in this photograph, there is a lot of mixture of both frozen action and blurred motion. For focus, it does. There is no three-dimensional parts on this photograph. There is a large depth of field, mainly focusing on the statue, just because the statue is basically the main focus of the photograph. So you can see a lot of clear sharpness and quality around the statue. Shows the detail of the statue, such as the horses and the shadow of the horse. You can see the sharp detail and of the edges around the rocks. You can see over here, and there's also some sharpness of bushes that are growing outside of the rock. There does also appear to be a large depth of field around these trees. On the trees, you can see really sharp, plants and leaves on the trees. There is a little shallow depth of field with these two women over here. Um, it's not blurred at all. They do show the three ladies and the sons, so it does give a shallow depth of field over here. These two gentlemen over here do appear to be blurred just because maybe because they were moving or they weren't exposed that long enough during the exposure time. There is a lot of shallow depth of field over here. The grass is closer to the camera, but uphill it does appear that there is a large depth of field and focus more on the quality of the grass upper hill. There does appear to be no depth of field whatsoever, or no focus alongside the edges, maybe because of how faded the photograph is alongside the edge, and it doesn't show no depth of field whatsoever. So the photograph does appear to have a mixture of both shallow depth of field around here and a large depth of field amongst certain areas, but especially a large depth of field around the main focus, which is the statue.